Okay, additional rationale already as of 2012, an event type regular versus quick can be determined from time control alone, and I think we're moving in that direction anyway. There's no overlap. Proposed ADM would extend this non-overlapping property to quick versus blitz. At present, this distinction is blurred. Yes, it is. In fact, the proposal addresses event types, regular, quick, and blitz, rather than the rating systems used, regular, dual, or quick, or blitz if blitz passes. Okay, you want to speak on this one, Ken? Did I summarize it accurately?
I think you summarized it accurately. I'll point out, not that I'm trying to disown them, but ADM's 1226, 1227, 1228 are actually proposals that Bill Smythe put forward in the forums a couple of months ago. And since he was not a delegate, I invited him to word them as ADMs, and I have submitted them because I think they're worth discussing.
Okay. So you're not necessarily in favor or opposed, but you sponsored them as motions?
I sponsor them as motions. I'm mostly in favor of them, but I actually can see them being referred to the ratings committee, probably the right home for them.
Okay.
I have a question. If 1222 passes, Mike Atkins blitz, are you planning to withdraw this, or
No.
are you planning to
What I would do
modify this?
What I would do is modify
Paragraph
4. Item 4 is definition of blitz.
You would also have to
I'm sorry.
modify 3A.
3A? Yes, that's correct. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Any discussion?
All blitz is Mike Atkins blitz.
Hearing no discussion, we can proceed to the vote. Okay. The committee wants to refer it to the ratings committee. Okay. All in favor of the motion? 0. 1.
Yeah. Maybe you're in favor of your own.
And all opposed?
Thank you, Donna.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All who want to refer to the ratings committee? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm allowing people to vote twice.
Oh, thank you.
10.
Who's opposed to referring to the ratings committee?
Anybody opposed to referring it to?
Hey,
The ratings committee present.
Hey, wait a minute. Time out.
Okay.
Nice try.
Okay, ADM 1227, similar subject, but slightly different, is that the time controls and rating systems. Okay, so he defines regular, quick, blitz, dual ratings, regular, quick, and then main time in minutes. Okay, basically the current definitions, except yeah, dual ratings, quick, and blitz. Okay, and then if a separate system is encouraged, then he's got some suggestions. Okay, suggested additional criteria included, or suggested additional criteria are not rules. Okay. The committee wanted to refer this to the ratings committee, almost unanimously,
I really dislike in 1227 of 6A of de-rating under one system and re-rating on another and going back here.
That's in the suggestions, not in the rule.
Yeah, I really dislike that.
Okay. I'm opposed to that too. Why go back in history? Okay. Any further discussion? Yes, Ken.
I'll just point out.
That Ken.
I'll just point out that in item 4 there is an error. For an event to be dual rated, the statement that the text is requirements 3A through 3C. That should be 2A through 2C for a regular event.
Okay.
It's a typo.
All right. Any further discussion?
I'm on the committee.
No other Okay, all in favor as written? 0. All opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Refer to raise. 7, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. 1228, time control and tournament announcements. That was passed, 1228 was passed last year. And is already the rule, and it's already in the rule supplement. The rest of the motion is administrative for the office to do. And basically it's saying that we must specify the increment or delay in every tournament announcement, even if it is standard. Okay. And it's also a strong recommendation. Again, that doesn't mean that if it's a recommendation, it's not a rule. That a 5-second delay be used for regular, 3-second delay for quick, which are currently the standard, and 0 for blitz, which is currently the standard as listed in the rule book. Okay. Okay. And okay, this motion was passed last year. I don't think we needed it this year.
I think the only thing that this motion has in it that wasn't passed last year, and I still intend to withdraw the motion, but I would say
Fine, that's good enough. Stop right there.
Call the question.
Yes.
I think the only thing in the motion that it states is that if there is no delay specified in the
The
TR,
standard is used.
the standard is used. I don't believe that was passed last year. I believe that what was passed last year, unless I misunderstood, was that if there is no delay specified in the TLA, then there is no delay.
The rule states it must be specified. That was what was passed last year, so you wouldn't have a case if it's not specified.
Okay.
Everyone follows the rules.
Oh, yeah.
You ever done
All right. It's going to be withdrawn, so we don't have to worry about it.
Right.
Okay, 1232. This is an interesting one. I could pull out the rule book, the current published rule book, and read the rule. It's word for word, the same as the motion.
You have to talk to John Haskell about that.
I did.
My name is on there only for the same reason Ken's name was
Now,
on something.
It's word for word what the rule is. When I talked to John Haskell, he says he wants to add the TD tip. The TD tip doesn't require a vote of anybody. We can just add it.
The TD tip is also in there.
Yeah.
The only difference is it spells out ONE instead of the digit 1, and then there's a parenthetical comment.
And
On
the
the other-
current- yeah.
On the other hand, there's a hazard to this motion as well, which I think that John and perhaps Tim didn't recognize, which is the way the motion is worded, you would replace the text of 31B1 or 31B with this motion, and it discards some text that is already in the rule book. It discards the text that says that if the team is not complete, that the alternates move up to play on lower board numbers. And that text was omitted.
I think as long as that TD tip idea gets put in there, we can convince John and just say, move it to, oh,
I have already talked to him, he's
Okay.
agreed to that.
good.
Okay,
For those
so
who don't, everybody catch that?
1232 is withdrawn. 1233, move to change 31B1, board prizes and teams. Basically, it's not a change in the rule itself, it's only a change in the wording of the rule for clarification to make the wording in 31B1 compatible, the same kind of wording as in 31B. Okay.
And make it more understandable to
Well, more
players who don't get
consistent,
it.
yeah, more consistent within the rule. Okay, so it's not really a rule change, it's a slight change in the semantics and the wording of the rule.
Wait, question.
Yes,
Eligible only for the highest board played.
See, here
the
we
highest
go.
board number played.
That's not what it says.
Okay, highest board played, the highest board, okay, individual board prizes offer players who play on more than one board are eligible only for the highest board
It
played.
means what you want it to mean.
Right, exactly. That's it. That's
The player,
ambiguous.
okay, But the TD tip says if a player plays in positions 1 and 4, it gives an example. The player's combined points would be credited toward board prizes for position 4.
Okay.
Okay. It's board position rather than, everybody understands the highest board is board 1, but numerically that's not the case. And that's what it's trying to clear up.
Right.
And it
You
doesn't
just
do that, but it
said
doesn't do
the
that.
problem with the rule. You said everyone knows the highest board is 1.
Okay.
And that's the opposite of what this is saying,
Yeah.
trying to say.
Should say highest board number.
It should be, the word number needs to be in there.
Oh, okay.
The highest board number.
Or
play.
position.
Well, okay.
I would prefer number.
I would
I prefer number also.
Okay, it says, yeah, board numbers, okay.
Or highest
Do we have a
numbered,
rule about how you must number your board?
highest numbered
Yes.
board.
Yes.
And for players who play on more than one, only for the highest board number.
What is the perceived problem with the current text?
Yeah, right. Didn't the current text say highest board number?
No, the current text, you pull out the rule.
The word number does not appear in the rule. It says the
But also,
lowest board.
even if you have a number, I mean, if you have a number 35 and 37, 37 is a bigger number, so necessarily a higher number. I mean, that's, I mean, I have a math degree. I never seen calling that a higher number. You know, one number is bigger than
There
the
are higher numbers and there are higher boards, and they mean different things.
I mean, even that is not clear when you have.
Board prizes. If individual board prizes are offered, players who play on more than one board are eligible only for the lowest board play. The player's points on all boards combined are credited towards the board prize on the lowest board.
That seems to me to be perfectly clear.
Yes.
Unnecessary.
Oh, really?
To me,
Yes.
I challenge you to go to one of those tournaments and take a survey and come back with that same statement. I challenge you. I've done too many team tournaments, and I'm gonna win that bet.
Okay,
They don't get it.
the change in the wording requested is matches the kind of wording in 31B. Whereas now they are, if you read them, it looks like they're saying the opposite thing.
Except 31B says higher numbered and lower numbered.
Right.
Well, the word number is omitted in this
Okay,
phrase.
we'll add the word number.
I think that would be good.
Yes.
I suggest that as a friendly amendment.
Okay. And
Sure, I'll accept that. I don't know what John would do. My name's on there, I can accept anything.
Yeah, okay.
If we pass it, John will resubmit the motion next year.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah. Okay. Any other comments?
Maybe he'll get Bill to do it.
Yes.
Well, I think instead of having a high board number, it should be lowest board. That's my
Well,
opinion.
then we
Which is
should
the way
change
it
30,
is.
then we should change 31B to match that kind of wording.
So moved.
Might just be easier to say top board and bottom board.
No,
Get
it's
rid of
not clear.
numbers, high and low and all of that, top and bottom, then people know.
The most bottom board you played?
The bottom is,
Yeah, what about those middle
I understand,
boards?
but wow.
I played my
Those
game
folks
on
on
the, I
board
played
too,
my
they don't
game on the
matter.
floor.
Example.
That's pretty bottom.
And my teammate played it on the top of the ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So 12:33. Okay, I think we can proceed with the vote on this one. All in favor? With the word number added?
alternate views.
4, 5, 6, 7. And opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
What was the committee vote?
Oh, it was, the committee was 4-0 in favor.
The practical,
Is
the
there-
practical effect will be the TD tip.
Is there a TD tip in the rule book right now?
Yes, there are
31B?
TD tips in the rule book now.
For
No,
31B1?
Oh, for this,
For
no.
this, no.
Don't be
Tip is not in the rule book.
covering 3 pages.
Okay. Now go to the Rules Committee report on page
55?
54.
Oh, that's close.
Yeah. Okay. The 3 motions affecting rules. ADM Rule 11A, remove the words except in sudden death. The time on the clock shall not be adjusted. However, And this rule is not in effect during sudden death time pressure. And this is penalizing or compensation for an illegal move.
Hey, David, just as a clarification, these are actually going to be, these got missed and didn't get put in the advanced agenda.
Correct.
And they're gonna be added in and kind of some things renumbered. They're gonna be in that 21, 22, 20. We've also got
Not
23,
necessarily.
then 22, then 23. So
Actually, the way
Actually, I
the
think
proposal is, Harold's not here, but we're going to amend the agenda to include these three at the end of the ADMs.
Yeah. we're gonna get it in there.
Okay,
It'll be at the end of the ADMs.
Okay, I've already picked up my delegate credentials, and there is an insert in there numbering them 34, 35, and 36.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they already are considered ADMs.
Okay, good.
It's at the end of the There's 33.
Well, the agenda's been amended, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
Office, they corrected it.
they corrected it. Okay, 11A. Okay, right now, illegal moves are referred to, this is 11A, yeah. To illegal moves during the last 10 moves. And
Aren't they supposed to be coming out with a new rule?
illegal moves prior.
Aren't they supposed to be coming out with a
Illegal
new
move
rule?
and sudden death.
No.
Okay. Oh, and 11D, remove the references to sudden death. Illegal move if a player completes an illegal move by pressing the clock. In addition to the usual obligation to make a legal move with a touch pieces if possible. The standard penalty specified in Rule 1C2A applies. It's a 2 minute. 2 minutes are added to the opponent's clock. This is, and it's closer to the 3-day rule. The 3-day rule is actually 3 minutes. Okay, so it's removing the word sudden death. So at any time during the game.
Actually, the 3-day rule is 2 minutes, time addition for an illegal move.
It is?
It's 3 minutes for an invalid draw claim, it's 2 minutes otherwise.
Okay.
In fact, let me argue here against redundancy. If the standard penalty is already specified in 1C2A, there's no reason to repeat it here.
You got that?
Inevitably, we will change it in one place and not the other.
Yeah, of course. All right.
So you're saying you just remove the parentheses
Yeah.
part?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It's fine to be the standard penalty.
Right.
Whatever the standard
So what are you
penalty is.
removing here?
I'm just
We're
clarifying.
removing the parenthetical remark, i.e. 2 minutes added to the opponent's clock, and parentheses. The standard penalty applied in Rule 1C2A is appropriate, because you're referring to another rule.
And the period appears after the word lies.
Correct.
Just a
I don't
smooth
like
thing.
periods, so I'm going to just eliminate it. So
Just a smooth thing.
anyway, all right. The committee's in favor of that, 6-0.
So what is the purpose of this?
The purpose of this is, okay, one of the biggest difficulties I've had with the rule as written is that it specifies in sudden death, and I've always applied the 2 minute penalty regardless of when it occurs. And, so.
So in other words, during a regular time control, you can penalize for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So every time somebody makes an illegal move, they get
Your
their
opponent
opponent
gets-
gets 2 minutes added to their clock, regardless of what the time control is.
Yes.
Well, if it's less than 10 minutes, right?
No.
There is
Very
any-
time.
any-
No, it's not, no time pressure is
When the
mentioned.
guy plays an illegal move on move 1, he gets 2 extra minutes. This one gets 2 minutes.
Yeah.
If I may add,
He grabs his
specifically,
bishop to move it.
Of course, the player has to claim the illegal move to begin with.
specifically, if you read Rule 11, illegal move, and not refer to Rule 1C2A standard penalty, if you just read the Rule 11, illegal move, you come up with a reading that says the 2 minute penalty applies in the sudden death time control, but not in any other time.
Yes.
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 And that's what I've enforced, because that's how I interpreted Rule 11. I was only made aware this year through discussion on the Rules Committee that others would apply the 2-minute penalty in the non-sudden death time control
Because it's-
by invoking Rule 1C2A.
Correct.
Correct. I would prefer to see Rule 11 just be consistent, say 2 minutes.
No,
Not
standard penalty.
A standard penalty.
Or standard penalty.
There you go.
And also by reading 11D, as it's written in the rule book, the director should not call attention to illegal moves in sudden death time pressure if either player has less than 5 minutes remaining in sudden
I
death
think
time
that was
control.
changed the last
Yeah,
five
that
minutes.
was changed, yeah.
I believe that's been changed.
That's been changed, okay. All right, anyway, so, in fact, that's why I didn't include it in the motion, because it has been changed. You're right. Okay. Is there any further discussion? Okay, apparently you don't like the fact of adding 2 minutes whenever somebody.
As someone who mainly directs scholastic tournaments, I just imagine myself in nightmare situations where I'm going to be doing
All
all
right,
that.
all of them are all, they're all sudden death. What's the
And
big
we have
deal?
a special National Scholastic Chess Tournament rule where we don't add the
that's
2
where it
minutes.
And that's how you.
There you go, that's the way around it.
Okay.
You found a way around it.
Rule 1, post it.
Yeah.
There we go, we just negated the rule book.
Once it's online and you advance it.
Just the inconvenient parts.
Yeah.
I mean, the Scholastic Committee ignores the rule book anyway.
Yes, they do.
Oh,
Yes, they do.
only the council.
Okay.
The Scholastic Committee denies the rule.
Yeah, that doesn't
They're
exist.
stronger than ignores it.
Yeah. Okay. All in favor?
Of sorts.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18. All opposed? 1.
2 minutes.
Okay, I'll go take a timeout.
ADM.
Be sure to face the corner.
David, could you skip the next one, because it's gonna take a lot of time to talk about it.
It sure is.
Deal with the 5F thing, because it won't, and then come back.
All right,
And
sure,
let's spend
okay.
a lot of time on the electronic.
I don't see why it's going to take a lot of time. I think it's pretty
It will.
straightforward.
Because it's an emotional issue.
It will.
Okay. Add to Rule 5F. A player who arrives late and has not determined their first move is allowed to replace his standard analog clock or any non-standard clock with their own properly set more standard delay or more standard increment clock. In a game without an increment or delay capable clock where both players have determined their first move, the initial clock shall remain the timer for the rest of the game. Basically, what this is allowing a player, okay, say black shows up late. White has already made their first move and started their clock. Okay, it's not a standard clock. It's a wind-up mechanical clock, for example. Black shows up with his standard clock for the game. He can replace the mechanical clock with his standard clock before he himself makes a move. And sets it properly according to the time expired showing on the analog clock. Okay.
Isn't that the rule now that passed last year?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's online. I quartered it in a work I just did for USCF.
Yes,
And when I lined to double check that it was there.
yes.
I believe it's there, unless my memory's bad.
I thought we did
I
this.
think-
I thought maybe you just reworded this somehow.
Okay, it's there, but it doesn't, okay, before the game, but I think it says before the game has started.
No.
No.
We need to look that up before we're guessing now.
Okay.
Someone who has access needs to go look it up.
My
No, you know, in the revisions.
Well, here's the
You should
revision.
find, actually, if you have the motions that were passed last year, which is in.
Yeah, so if someone has last year's,
Okay. That
Minutes with me?
may be, in which case I'll withdraw. Okay.
I thought you added some new wording, I didn't check that part
I
out.
thought I did too.
I thought the new wording would have been, it struck me the new wording was, where both players have, where both players have determined their first move, the initial clock shall remain. I don't remember that wording, but that may be there. I mean, you need to,
Yeah, I'll look at it.
just doing this from vague memory when I was quickly working through something 2 weeks ago.
And while he's looking at it, is there an or missing from that last sentence? It says, in a game without an increment or delay clock, where both players have a, I think you mean or where both players have determined their first move. Either condition, either there's no delay or increment, or both players have determined the first move. Then you're stuck with the clock.
Oh, you're right, there is some more than good catch.
Is there a possibility that using standard analog under these, under this definition might be an oxymoron? Standard shouldn't apply if you're replacing a non-standard clock.
Yeah, I would say replace a less standard, because that's the terminology we use, less standard or more standard.
I have the authoritative reference. Delegate motion 1146, ADM 1141, Steve Emmett, right of all players to furnish and use time delay clocks. I'm reading this very quickly. If you have it from your packet, it's page.
That's right, because it was the Emmett thing that it was hard to reword.
There's proceedings of the 2011 USCF Board of Delegates meeting, August 6th, 7th, page 19 I'm taking this from. The delegates approved adding to Rule 42D the following minor variation. A properly set clock with time delay or increment capability is preferable to any other clock in a game with any sudden death time control. Therefore, if white has such a clock available and black does not, white's clock should be used. If either player arrives late for the start of the game and a clock without time delay or increment has already been started, the player has the right to furnish and substitute a properly set time delay or increment clock prior to the determination of black's first move. The player
I move that as a substitute for your motion.
The player substituting the time delay or increment clock must also transfer the elapsed times shown on the non-delay clock to the delay or increment clock without any additional adjustments except to correct any errors in the display of the elapsed time. The player substituting the delay or increment clock must have arrived at the board before the grace period for forfeit loss of the game by non-appearance has expired. Notwithstanding the above, the only occasions where black retains the right to use his or her non-time delay clock are in games with no sudden death time control, in cases where both players have the same time of non-time delay clock, or if the delay mode were not being used in the sudden death time control game, and if, in all these cases, black has arrived in time for the start of the game, or if white is late before white has arrived, this goes on forever.
Okay, Ken, we get your point. You're absolutely correct. And it is not in the supplement, by the way. Tim, it's not in the supplement, that's why I missed it.
Oops.
As a matter of explanation, where was it?
Page 19.
Page 19?
All of page 19.
Because I vividly remember this now, because I was we talked about it on the committee and I just did something. If you read all that very carefully, it says the delegates approve adding to Rule 42D the following variation. However, it ended up being replacing 42D, so it didn't end up being a variation. It became the rule. Hardly anybody noticed that until we went to post the changes that were, the delegates approved. All of a sudden, Dave and I said, hey, that isn't what was intended, but this is what it says. And so we just posted it that way, and my mind said, well, if there's a problem with this, somebody's going to complain. Well, it's been a year. You know how many people complain that I know of? 0. So apparently this isn't a big deal. We could change 5F. It would look nice to go with this.
Okay.
It really wouldn't make any difference, though.
It won't. Okay, I'm withdrawing it, never mind. Yes?
Yeah, I think I see a very small problem with that Steve Limits rule that I understand was passed, but just want to bring everyone's attention that especially if increment is big, for example, we're in our club running it. We have regular scheduled tournaments with 1 minute increment, might be more. So anyway, so this is a situation, right, that player with white pieces on time doesn't have a digital clock, starts the analog clock, right? The player with the black pieces comes in, substitutes his own delay increment clock, it's gonna get that extra increment on his first move, but the white player is cheated of that extra
When
time.
you set the
No, no, because when you set the clock, you're gonna put it down, and you're gonna start white's clock.
And it's gonna add
White
increment.
will essentially have the move, you'll immediately hit white's side.
Okay,
On
well,
the